Welcome to today's Explainer. You know, we often look at billionaires, top performers, these absolute titans of industry, and we just assume they've got some innate magic, right? Like they won the genetic lottery or just got incredibly lucky. But diving into the source material today, it turns out that's totally wrong. True success? It's not magic at all. It's architecture. It is all about highly structured, ruthlessly defended daily routines. Today, we're literally going to unpack the exact blueprints used by the most successful people on the planet. So, let me ask you something, and be completely honest with us here. What exactly did you do in your very first hour awake today? Did you hit the snooze button a couple of times? Did you instantly grab your phone and start doom scrolling Instagram or reading news you literally can't control? Hey, if you did, you're not alone. But let's contrast that with, say, Elon Musk's morning. He woke up and immediately tackled his most critical, future-moving emails. He reviewed his top priorities and got his exercise in. I mean, by the time most of us were still staring at our closets deciding what to wear, he'd already made decisions affecting millions. We all get the same 24 hours, but man, the structure is completely different.
Okay, let's dive straight into this. Here is the blueprint we'll be covering today. First, the architecture of achievement. Then, winning the first hour. After that, we'll get into deep work and energy, map out the strategic afternoon, and finally, we'll wrap up the whole shebang with a 30-day challenge.
All right, Section 1, the architecture of achievement.
The absolute foundational shift you've got to make if you really want to level up your life is moving out of this state of constant reaction and into a state of intentional structure. Think about a typical reactive morning. You hit snooze, you check your phone in bed. You're basically making yourself instantly available to everyone else's emergencies, right? You're just reacting to the world. But an intentional morning, that means exercising, focused planning, maybe some reading. It means you are creating your own momentum. High achievers fiercely guard their first hour because they know without a doubt that whoever controls the morning controls the entire day.
Moving right along to Section 2, winning the first hour. Okay, the sources make a pretty bold claim here. They say there's actually no such thing as a morning person or a night person. Scratch that entire concept. There are only people with strong habits and people with weak habits. Take the number 3:45 a.m. That's a little jarring, right? But that is the exact time Apple CEO Tim Cook wakes up every single day to start reading emails and planning. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, up at 4 a.m. to hit the gym. Michelle Obama is working out by 4:30, and Richard Branson is up at 5. Does Tim Cook inherently love rolling out of bed at 3:45 in the morning? Probably not, but he loves the results way more than he loves sleeping in. These successful folks, they don't negotiate with their alarm clocks. They attack the day. Now, if you're wondering how to actually build that kind of early morning momentum, our sources offer this highly effective, absolutely non-negotiable 10-minute ritual. It's called the 5-3-2 formula. It goes like this. First, 5 minutes of gratitude to get your mind into a powerful, positive state. Next up, 3 minutes of visualization. Literally close your eyes and see yourself crushing your goals, because your brain actually can't tell the difference between real and intensely imagined success. And finally, 2 minutes of speaking affirmations out loud. Sure, it might sound a little out there, but think about Muhammad Ali. He used daily affirmations to tell himself, "I am the greatest," way before he actually was the greatest. It's just 10 minutes, but it totally primes you for absolute victory. Which brings us to Section 3, deep work and energy. Now we're getting into the core of the workday. And look, working smarter absolutely does not mean chaining yourself to your desk for 14 hours to answer trivial messages. It means totally avoiding shallow tasks and mastering this concept of deep work. The term was coined by Professor Cal Newport, and it basically means focusing on one highly important task with zero distractions for 90 to 120 minutes. No phone, no email, no social media, just pure, unadulterated focus. This is exactly why Warren Buffett keeps his calendar basically empty. He's protecting his time for deep thinking. It's why Bill Gates literally retreats to a secluded cabin twice a year for these think weeks, just to read and innovate. They guard their focus like gold, because, well, it is gold.
To actually pull this off, you have to carve out what we call sacred time. For a lot of high performers, this hits right around 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. During this specific block, your phone is physically in another room, your inbox is closed, you are working exclusively on the one thing that moves your life forward, writing that book, building the business plan, learning that new skill. And doing this requires immense mental energy. Actually, that's exactly why Steve Jobs famously wore the same clothes every single day. He just eliminated all those small, shallow decisions about his wardrobe so he could save every drop of his mental energy for the massive decisions during these sacred work blocks.
And this brilliantly illustrates a fascinating pattern among the ultra-successful. They don't just manage their time, they manage their energy. You see, our brains naturally follow an ultratadian rhythm. We're biologically wired to work in these 90-minute intervals of peak focus. But after that, biological fatigue sets in, and a break isn't just nice, it's required. Trying to fight your own biology by chugging endless cups of coffee is a one-way ticket to burnout. Working in alignment with this rhythm is the real secret to sustained high performance.
So in practice, this means following a really specific protocol. After your 90 minutes of deep work, you've got to take a real 15-minute break. And by real break, I definitely don't mean just tabbing over to Twitter. I mean stepping entirely away from your screens, getting outside, and taking a breath. It also means fueling your body like a high-performance vehicle, eating clean proteins and veggies instead of some heavy, sleep-inducing lunch. Oh, and if you need to recover, take a power nap. Winston Churchill literally napped every single afternoon during World War II, and he claimed it effectively doubled his daily productivity. If it worked during a world war, it'll probably work for your Tuesday.
Let's move into the second half of the day. Section 4, the strategic afternoon.
As the day rolls on, our biological energy naturally dips. It happens to all of us. But high performers don't fight this. They strategically map their tasks right onto their fading energy levels. Notice how at noon, when energy starts dragging a bit, they tackle the light admin work and easy emails. Then by 1 p.m., they group all their meetings together. Around 3 p.m., they might shift into a second deep work block or some dedicated creative time. Like Oprah Winfrey uses her afternoons strictly to read. She devours something like 52 books a year. And finally, around 5 p.m., they exercise to recharge the body and clear the mind. Barack Obama religiously played basketball or worked out at 5 p.m. for this exact reason.
Now, let's talk about those 1 p.m. meetings for a second, because successful people are absolutely ruthless about them. They enforce a strict 30-minute meeting rule. Rule number 1, if a meeting has no agenda, the meeting does not happen. Period. Simple as that. Rule number 2, it should never, ever exceed 30 minutes. If you guys can't discuss and resolve the issue in half an hour, it just means you aren't properly prepared. Grouping these into the afternoon is absolutely crucial to protecting those sacred morning focus hours we talked about.
But hey, the structure doesn't just evaporate when work ends. Evening rituals are just as vital. At 6 p.m., it's dedicated family time. Tony Robbins, for instance, is famous for his strict, completely phone-free family dinners. Then at 7 p.m., it's time to invest in learning. 8 p.m. is for reflection. Benjamin Franklin used to ask himself this same question every single night. What good have I done today? This is also the perfect time to write out tomorrow's to-do list, so you wake up with absolute clarity. And by 9 p.m., it is time to wind down. No screens, no stress, just preparing yourself for some seriously high-quality sleep.
All right, we've covered the theory. Now for Section 5, the 30-day challenge.
Look, information without execution is really just entertainment, right? To put this incredible blueprint into practice, it actually starts before the week even begins, with a 30-minute Sunday planning session. You sit down and you pick your top 3 goals for the week. Not 10 goals, just the 3 that actually move the needle. You put every single commitment on your calendar, and most importantly, you block out your deep work hours like they are non-negotiable meetings with a VIP. And you've got to practice saying no. When Steve Jobs returned to Apple, he famously canceled 70% of their projects. Why? Because ultimate focus is truly about saying no to almost everything else, just so you can say yes to the few things that actually matter.
So here is your direct 30-day commitment. For the next 30 days, I challenge you to not modify this at all. You're going to wake up at the exact same time every day, yes, even on weekends. You're going to execute that 10-minute 5-3-2 routine. You will guard 9 to 11 a.m. for deep work with your life. You'll physically move for 30 minutes, read for an hour instead of binging TV. And this is huge. You will protect 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Jeff Bezos absolutely insists on 8 hours of sleep because he knows that one brilliant decision made when you're well-rested is infinitely more valuable than 10 mediocre decisions made when you're exhausted. You do this for 30 days, consistently.
I want to leave you with this final, really provocative question to chew on. Are you choosing easy today, or are you choosing success for tomorrow? Because let's be real, doing this is not easy. It is way easier to hit snooze, scroll on your phone, and just react to whatever the world throws at you. But easy doesn't build greatness. Adopting the strict discipline of the world's most successful people is going to feel uncomfortable at first, but it is the only genuine way to transform your life. So starting tonight with your to-do list and tomorrow morning with your alarm clock, which path are you going to choose? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time as we continue to break down the ideas that shape our world.